Hello, my name is Alicia Crawley. My experience leading groups is mostly with youth from 8 to 17 years of age. This has mostly been with a generation of youth conference that is held every summer. My choice for this group project was a single parenting support group. I am a single mother of two, and although my children are 16 and 23, there have been many times in the past, especially when they were younger, that I wish I had an outlet or discussion group to talk with and help navigate through the tough times. I wanted to host this group to give many single parents an opportunity to discuss issues that single parents face daily. The context of the group was, the organizational context was that I was the sole leader of the group. The group was created for the purpose of this assignment, but based on attendance and interest, I hope to be able to continue with the group and meet once per month. This was an open group, and awareness was created through invitation on Facebook and through a few single parent friends that I have, and they extended it to their friends and co-workers, etc. The purpose of the group was to create an atmosphere where single parents get together and openly discuss topics that concern them in an open discussion free of judgment and fear. Participation was absolutely voluntary. The setting of the group was, the meeting was held on December 10th, 2017 at 4 p.m. The length was approximately 2 hours long, and there were 14 adults in attendance. I used Facebook and also word of mouth with coworkers to promote attendance. Among those that attended was a good friend of 10 years and also friends of hers that are not mutual friends of mine. Most of the participants were between the ages of 25 and 35 years of age, single parents, female, mostly female, one male, and residents of the Richmond, Virginia area. The icebreaker that I used was an opener to introduce ourselves to each other and the ages of their children. I explained my expectations up front, and number one was that everyone was to be courteous and respectful of one another's feelings. The group participants were expected to allow everyone an opportunity to speak and wait until each is finished before speaking. Also, to be considerate of others within the group and not make offensive statements concerning religion, race, or other offensive topics. All participants were expected to communicate or add in some way to the discussion. Lastly, anything spoken within the group session should remain confidential and not be discussed outside of the group setting. This was explained initially. At the meeting, there was a table with resources and information for parents, as well as outside activities for children that they could browse while waiting for the meeting to start. There were pamphlets of activities within our local library that parents could use to take their children to for fun events. At this table also there were ink pens and name tags provided as well. Upon starting the meeting, I introduced myself, the purpose of the meeting, expectations, and agendas. I then proceeded with the warm-up introduction exercise, of which we were introduced to one another. After the introductions, I opened up the discussion with the topic for single parenting, and the first subtopic, which was the main problem or issue that you are having as a single parent. We proceeded to go around the room to discuss and respond. Some of the responses were that they were feeling lonely. Some were learning to trust again and difficulty with that, and also how to co-parent with the absent parent. During the discussion portion, there was a young lady who became emotional and started to cry. The topic was about feeling lonely and how to deal with it. As she continued to talk, I provided tissue for her as well. After she spoke, I asked if anyone had any advice or experience on how they have dealt with this in the past. Another member responded, but proceeded to be lengthy in her response, so I used the cutting off technique and redirected the discussion. The young lady was satisfied with the response, and the discussion was continued with another member. Initially, I did not want to cut her off, but knew that if I did not, we would not be able to keep within the time restraints allowed. Most of all of the members were engaged and eager to participate and speak. 10 out of 13 responded and offered discussion points. The timeline for the group was from 4 to 4:05, the introduction, 4:05 to 4:10, discussion of expectations, format, confidentiality. 4:10 to 4:15 was the open forum, questions, and the open scale of 1 to 10, how difficult it was being a single parent was the question that I used. From 4:14 to 4:30, we discussed the answers given after breaking up into two groups. From 4:30 to 4:45, on paper that was previously provided, on the left side, we wrote rewards of being a parent, and on the right side, we wrote lists. Within the list, we wrote challenges of being a parent. 4:45 to 5, we allowed the representative for each group, which we had previously selected, to share some of the challenges and rewards, and we compared the similarities of the answers for both groups. This discussion went pretty well, and there were no incidents. From 5 to 5:03, we dispersed back to our group, our original group circle format. And from 5:03 to 5:25, we discussed as a group how we can help each other with the challenges listed in the group, provided solutions, and shared what worked for others and some suggestions. Some of the suggestions that were provided was to communicate with one another, and some who was willing to exchange their phone number. We created a master list where we could communicate with one another and agreed that we would set times where we could meet just for fun activities and to make sure that everyone had a partner that they could participate in activities with. From 5:45 to 6 was the conclusion and the closing comments and refreshments. Overall, I enjoyed leading this group, and the only thing that I would do differently would be to try to gather more diversity within the group. There were 13 women and 1 male present. I feel that a balance with the gender would have provided a better discussion. And the main challenges for me was nervousness initially in the beginning, and that eased as time progressed. My leadership style was open, and self-disclosure was provided, which I felt set the tone. I let them know my experience as a single mother and different issues that I've had along the way, as well as my triumphs. I shared that early on, and it provided to be a good benefit to some. In closing, the Bible states that we should be helpers one to another, and I feel that this support group was very helpful. This was a very valuable experience, and I look forward to leading it again. Thank you.